welcome to practice. I'm Casey and this is May, and today we are continuing our Yinneagram journey, which is Yin Yoga for the Enneagram. Today we'll be doing Enneagram Type 7, the Enthusiast or the Party. As you can see, I have a hand problem today. So a lot of the postures I have to modify for my hand. So if you're watching me do yoga, you would notice I'm not doing what I say to be doing. And that's why you're welcome to follow along with me with my modifications, or just go ahead and do what I say, which is really the base expression of each of the postures. If you haven't already watched the video on my channel, the intro to the series, you might want to pop over there at some point, as that goes a little bit further into what the Enneagram is, how I feel it kind of connects to Yin Yoga. So if you're interested or you have questions after practice, you might want to pop on over there. Also, this is our 60-minute practice, and next week I will release a 25-minute practice, which is pretty much the same thing, just snipped down to 25 minutes. I have a Enneagram Type 7 in my life who I love so much, and it was really interesting to learn, for me especially, the background of Type 7s, because for me as an Enneagram Type 4, it can be really hard to relate to an Enneagram Type 7, and I would find that I was getting my feelings hurt quite often, because for a 4, I want to be really authentic just all the time and really deep, and I want to talk about really deep things, and that is not how 7s operate. So as I started learning more about the Enneagram and things like that, I really was able to understand, like this is just because we're really different people. It's not a 7 is trying to keep me at arm's length or anything like that, but it's who they are, and it's helped me to really connect with this person who I love so much. So I just encourage everyone, even if you're not a 7, to watch these videos, as I've found they really help me to love other people better and to understand them. So the Type 7's passion or sin is gluttony, which isn't exactly what we think about in our society today. And they are also part of the fear triad, which is 5, 6, and 7. So the 7s really just tend to not deal with perceived negative emotions, and that is how they fit into the fear triad. Because of all this, I've selected for us to be doing a hip practice today, as our hips tend to store a lot of stress and trauma and emotions that we haven't dealt with. And you might be asking yourself, how can that happen? Last I checked, my hips weren't a trunk that I keep my journals in. So visually, we can see this in kind of hunched over shoulders or clenched fists or clenched jaws. And that same kind of reaction happens in our body, but a lot of times we don't let it go. So doing these Yin Yoga practices where we get really deep into the hips can help us to really release a lot of tension from the place that we tend to hold it. For practice today, I would suggest bringing along a block, a blanket, and a bolster. If you're really not into props or you really don't want to get a lot of props, I would suggest something like a block. If you don't have a block, just a blanket that you can roll up to be pretty thick. Otherwise, you probably don't really need any of these props. I definitely needed them today, so I was happy to have them around. If you're ready and you've got all the props that you want, then go ahead and meet me back here in a comfortable seat, and let's jump right in. into a comfortable seat. Sit up straight. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the right, left hand coming to right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale to the center. Exhale, twist to the left, right hand coming to left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, center. Exhale, right palm down, left arm up and over for a side stretch. Inhale, center. Exhale, left palm down, right arm up and over. Inhale, center. Exhale, lace the fingers behind your back. Push the knuckles away from you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, unwind, hands meet up and overhead. Exhale, hands on lap. We're going to take this flow one more time. Sit up straight. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right palm down, left arm up and over. Inhale, center. Exhale, left palm down, right arm up and over. Inhale, center. Exhale, lace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, push the knuckles away. Exhale. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to lap. Take a few grounding breaths here, winding down to practice. The hips are an area where people hold a lot of unconscious tension, old emotions, and deep vulnerabilities. Considering the psoas link to the fight or flight response, it's understandable that stress might get trapped there. This unconscious tension can be held from one traumatic event or lots of smaller events where the stress of feelings like sadness, worry, and fear are stored and can get stuck. Stretching the hip muscles causes a release and allows stored emotion to melt away. The hips are like the body's junk drawer. It's the place where we put emotions when we don't know what else to do with them. It's not uncommon to feel a rush of emotions in hip opening poses. Some people unexplainably come to tears in these poses as old emotions resurface. This is your time to release them. Hip flexors are strong muscles. Hip openers can be challenging, but stay with it and remember to breathe. Come down onto your back, bent knees. Set up your right leg so that the ankle crosses over the space of the left thigh just above the knee and flex the foot. Reach through the legs with the right hand and clasp onto your left hand to hold your leg. You can hold onto the hamstring or the shin. For all of us, at any given time in our lives, we could be described as healthy, average, or unhealthy. Sometimes we stay in a level of development for long lengths of time, sometimes relatively short. An average 7 will reframe anything that is sad or brings about, quote, bad feelings into something happy and reaffirming. Much of the sadness that they do experience is due to unmet expectations. They tend to be restless and want options and choices all the time. They keep up with the latest trends. Average 7s get bored easily. At unhealthy levels, 7s can be impulsive and inclined to addiction in many different forms. They will do whatever is necessary to avoid sadness, fear, and anxiety. They see themselves and their world around them as inadequate and fall into pity for themselves. Unhealthy 7s can have dramatic mood swings, irresponsible behavior, and desperately seek instant gratification. When at their best and healthy, 7s are delightful. They achieve the many different things they start and are the most extroverted type on the Enneagram. They assimilate their experiences in depth and in real time, making them grateful for themselves and the world around them. They are awed by simple things in life, bringing passion and joy to themselves and those around them. They have stopped running from sadness, pain, and anxiety, and incorporate these things into their lives as they naturally occur. Begin to bend the right knee and bring the sole of the foot to the mat. Set up your left leg so that the ankle crosses over the right thigh. Lay on your back. Clasp the hands together. The passion or sin of the 7 is gluttony. Like all the Enneagram types, this word doesn't mean exactly what we think it means. 7s experience gluttony as their compulsive need to have positive experiences, have fun and find material things, and a brain constantly moving to, at all costs, avoid pain and suffering. In the book The Road Back to You, Ian Cron writes, 7s don't want to feel unpleasant emotions, particularly that swirl of fear and emptiness they register at their core. A psychiatrist likens addicts to hungry ghosts. Cron sees the passion of the 7 in this metaphor as someone seeking to devour experiences, but they are never enough. 7s are in the fear triad with 5s and 6s. 5s ward off fear with knowledge, 6s with pessimism, and 7s with relentless optimism. 7s are pretty much the creators and executives of FOMO, fear of missing out. They will participate in anything they can, even to their own detriment. let both soles of the feet plant on the mat. Take a few wiper movements here. Come to a seat, then to table. Step your right leg to the inside of your right hand. Stack your front knee over your front foot. If you need to move your foot with your hands, that is okay. Wiggle your left knee towards the back of your mat if you need to. Hands can come onto blocks, or for a deeper stretch, down to the forearms. If the back knee feels uncomfortable, place a towel or blanket under the knee. The hip region is associated with the sacral chakra, an energetic center that is linked to how you relate to your emotions and the emotions of others. A blocked sacral chakra is said to lead to emotional instability as well as reductions in pleasure. When the hips are tight and contracted, it's possible that sacral energy that's not expressed is stuck. In her book, The Enneagram, Helen Palmer writes, "The habitual preoccupations of the sevens include the need to maintain high levels of excitement, many activities, many interesting things to do, wanting to stay emotionally high, maintenance of multiple options as a way to buffer commitment to a single course of action, replacement of deep contact with pleasant mental alternatives, talking, planning, and intellectualizing, charm as a first line of defense, fear types who move toward people, avoid direct conflict by going through the cracks, talk your way out of trouble. An attentional style of interrelating and systematizing information such that commitments necessarily include loopholes and other backup options. This style of attention can lead to rationalized escapism from difficult or limiting tasks, the ability to synthesize unusual connections and parallels between what appear to be antagonistic or unrelated points of view. Bring your right knee to your right wrist, right toes near or behind the left hand. Place a blanket under the right sits bone if there is a lot of space between it and the mat. Fold to whatever extent this side of your body allows. If you need a little height, go ahead and place some pillows under your torso. Each Enneagram type corresponds directly with 3 other types: your wing and your integration and disintegration points. Your wing is individual, but your integration and disintegration points are fixed. A 7 goes to a 5 in integration and a 1 in disintegration. This means that when a 7 is at their best, they will take on the best of the 5 attributes. When a 7 is unhealthy, they take on unhealthy 1 attributes. Moving toward disintegration and Type 1 qualities, 7s suddenly become aware of what they lack or haven't accomplished. They limit themselves to the extreme, avoiding anything they view as a distraction. They become pessimistic, judgmental, and argumentative. They blame others for their problems or perceived lack. Lean onto your right side and bring your left leg all the way forward. Using your hands, take your right foot and place the ankle on top of your left thigh. Bend your left knee so the left foot goes under your right thigh. When you look down, you should see an open triangle. If the knee seems far from the bottom foot, place a blanket between them. Stay here, or place the hands on the floor, walking them further away from your body. It may feel good to place a block or bolster under your head. My favorite Enneagram author, Hannah Posh, says in her book, Millenniagram, 7s head toward 5 in security, and in doing, learn how to go deep inside instead of wide, how to zone in instead of zone out. We see all of the expertise of the 5 with none of the hubris. They stop consuming and start contributing. It is no longer satisfying to just experience the world. They want to understand it. They concentrate more fully and seek to become an expert in one field instead of dabbling in many. They become self-aware and stop suppressing or distracting themselves from their pain. Slowly come up. Uncross your legs, keeping them bent or letting them go long, and make back and forth windshield wiper movements. Come to all fours. Bring your left foot forward to the inside of your left hand. Once again, wrists under shoulders, knee over ankle. Wiggle your right knee a bit to the back of the mat. It is important to note that typing children is widely frowned upon. Children are still growing into themselves and do not need additional voices telling them who they are. Here, I am going to talk about sevens as children for reflection purposes, not typing children now. All the types had a message they heard and internalized as children. The wounding message of the seven was that they are alone and that there was no one there to support them. A seven may describe their childhood as being constantly overwhelmed, abandoned, and without support. They decided early on that they would take care of things and themselves if no one else would. To do this, they avoided pain at all costs, creating a happy, safe space in their minds. They decided that avoiding problems was the best move. Because setbacks are often steamrolled instead of processed, sevens appear to bounce back from breakups, losing their jobs, or any other thing that takes most of us some time to get over. Starting young, sevens believed that being sad is a choice, denying their feelings. This can lead to sevens not understanding why others are sad, reframing others' feelings to be happy and positive, or denying their loved ones' feelings altogether. Bring your left knee to your left wrist, the side of the left calf on the ground. Let your left foot move close to the groin. Check to see that the right leg is straight out behind you. It may feel good to place a blanket under your left sits bone if it's hovering over the mat. Stay here or fold down onto palms, forearms, or resting on the floor. The left and right sides of our bodies are not the same. Take a moment before holding this pose to feel out this side of the body, deciding if you need to take different modifications than you did on the right side. Each Enneagram type will have a wing, which will be a number on either side of that type on the Enneagram symbol. The two wing options for a type 7 are 7 wing 6 and 7 wing 8. 7 wing 6s are sensitive and more anxious than a 7 wing 8. They are dutiful and loyal to their loved ones. These are the optimists, believing that life is good and meant to be enjoyed. 7 wing 6s deal with anxiety more and are almost afraid of the calm, fearing what might arise. It is somewhat unlikely for a 7 wing 6 to really enjoy introspection, such as yin yoga or meditation. A 7 with an 8 wing is bold, strategic, competitive, and aggressive. 7 wing 8s are able to focus their dreams a bit more, usually entrepreneurs with their attention drawn to many endeavors. They are still playful, and they usually get their way. Slowly come up. Lean onto your left hip and bring the right leg around and straight out in front of you. Take the left ankle and place it over the right thigh. Bend the right knee so that the right foot goes under the left knee. This means your left leg is on top of the right, left knee on top of right foot, left foot on top of right knee. Fold over. Remember, you can always use props here to find rest for your head. Unless you are in a relationship or the best friend of a 7, you probably don't know too much about their inner life. You may know stories from their lives, maybe ideas and goals, but they won't be looking to share deep or vulnerable memories or feelings. They also may be quick to dismiss your feelings or attempts at emotional intimacy. If you love a 7, you probably know they like to dream. It's important to give them this space, even if their dreams seem unrealistic. Letting them talk about their dreams gives them joy and creates trust. Also realize that an unrealistic dream or idea may actually be fantastic and possible. In Abby Howe's video, 10 Ways to Love an Enneagram 7, she suggests ensuring there is fun and variety in your lives and to make sure you are giving them quality time where they have your complete focus. Help your 7 by approaching conflict delicately and intentionally, attempting to keep things as light as possible and verbally encouraging them to share their thoughts and feelings. Check in with your 7s, especially when they seem to be jumping from one thing to the next. Lastly, Sevens are the commitment phobes of the Enneagram, so ensure that you have your own thing, separate from them, and your relationship going on. Slowly and gently come back up. Uncross the legs, finding whatever wiper movements feel good. Come down onto your back. Bring your block or rolled up blanket to your side. Bend your knees and place your feet hip-width distance flat on the floor, just out of reach from your hands. On an inhalation, press your feet into the floor, your shoulders into the floor, and lift your hips and low back up. On its lowest setting, bring the block right under your sacrum and relax down. It may be more comfortable to move the block up another setting. Try it out and see what feels good. I like to address spirituality in these videos as I believe your Enneagram type heavily influences what and how you believe. Because of the many different forms of spirituality, I will be speaking quite broadly here. Sevens may enjoy outward expressions of their spirituality such as feasting, singing, and dancing, any form of celebration. They will also be drawn to any community aspect their faith offers. To grow in their beliefs and spirituality, sevens should engage in more inward acts such as meditation, journaling, praying, or just silence and stillness. If appropriate to the individual, fasting would be another avenue a seven may experience growth, because it helps them to not become dependent on outside sources or experiences. lift the hips slightly and remove your prop. Slowly bring your legs up and into your stomach. Set your legs down on your right side. Again, place a blanket or pillow between the thighs if you need it. Let the left arm drape behind you. Right hand rested on the floor or your thigh. Turn your head towards the left if that feels good in the neck. If it doesn't, don't push it. Keep the head looking up or to the right. Self-care is extremely important for each person in our world. Depending on your Enneagram type, your self-care practices may look drastically different from someone else's. Type 7s should seek to find stillness at least once in their day. This may mean a bath where you aren't listening to anything or reading, maybe a quiet walk or a vigorous hike with time for reflection scheduled in. In her book, Take Care of Your Type, Christina S. Wilcox suggests to give your smile a day off. 7s can often feel pressure to be the life of the party, the entertainer, or the optimist. Allow yourself to step away from that role when it isn't true to how you're feeling. People will still want you around. Wilcox also suggests bringing someone with you on your adventures. 7s often choose to do their adventures alone, opting for flying solo rather than dealing with unmet expectations or someone else's rules or timetable. It is important to do some things alone, but it's also important to share what's special to you with others. It's important to feel needed and included by someone else. So every once in a while, invite a loved one along for the ride. Bring your knees into your chest, wrapping them in with your arms. Slowly turn to the left and let your knees drop. Bring your left arm to the floor or your thigh. Drape your right arm out to the floor behind you. One thing I love about the Enneagram is that there is so much movement within your type. As I discussed earlier, there are your integration and disintegration points, your wing, but also your instinctual variant. Posh calls this our subtypes, and it is the area we fixate on the most. There are 3 subtypes: self-preservation, sexual, and social. A self-preservation 7 is seeking safety and probably already has a self-care routine. They are warm, sensuous, and they love to shop and travel. They also do not like feeling dependent on others and are practical. The social 7 is the subtype that fits least to the stereotypical 7. They actively avoid focusing on their own self-interests and take on a lot of responsibility in their families. They will also feel compelled to participate in social causes, feeling a deep need to help. Sexual 7s are drawn to individual people. Once they latch onto a person, they will want to go on adventures with them. This subtype loves adventures and new and exciting things. They hate and fear boredom and pain. They see the world through rose-colored glasses. Bring the knees into your chest. Let the soles of your feet meet for a reclined butterfly. If you want to make this more restorative, lay your back on a bolster or pillow and let your knees rest on pillows or rolled up blankets. Consciously relax your thighs so they feel heavy. Let go of any tension in the back, the neck, the shoulders, and the arms. I always close out these practices with some practical tips to take off the mat. Allow people around you to really know you. 7s may have a hard time being authentic and vulnerable with people, fearing they will be perceived as negative. But 7s, people want to know you, all of you, and the truest you. That includes emotions, that includes struggles and your sadness. You don't have to let everyone know you, just the souls around you that you trust and desire a deeper relationship with. Cron suggests unflinchingly reflect on the past and make a list of the people who have hurt you or whom you have hurt. Then forgive them and forgive yourself. Make amends where necessary. Trust that you can handle the hard stuff. You can feel sadness, pain, and anxiety, and you are strong enough to move past it. Give yourself permission to feel these things because you know you are strong. When you do experience these emotions, congratulate yourself on being real, vulnerable, and human. Lastly, practice being present in the now. Stop living your life in the next thing, in the anticipation. Soak in your present. I am sure if you look, there are plenty of magical things surrounding you here, now. Stretch the feet out long on your mat. Remove any props. Take a few wiper movements with your feet. In a moment, I will be offering some mantras for the Type 7. You may wish to write them in places you can read, repeat, and believe them. I have listed them in the description below. As we prepare for Shavasana, take a moment to survey your body, adjusting it to make it as comfortable as possible. Don't ignore small details. When parts of your body are still asking for attention, they are not completely at ease and continue to disturb the central nervous system. Relax and allow the rhythmic nature of the breath to take over as inhalation and exhalation flow effortlessly into one another. Soften the face, the front of the neck and throat, the chest, the tops of the shoulders, the arms, all the way to the tips of your fingers. Relax the rib cage and the area of your heart. The abdomen softens as it rises and falls with the breath. The tops of the thighs soften, and your relaxed attention flows all the way down to the tips of the toes. As muscles relax, the nerve impulses traveling to and from them decrease, and the brain calms down. A message of relaxation spreads throughout the entire nervous system, and gradually the tensions that have crept into your body and mind release. I will be taken care of. I find beauty in the ordinary. I have enough. I finish what I start. I am resilient. Take a deep breath into your belly. Gently bring movement into your hands and feet. Roll onto your side. Remember to continually come back to yourself. It's important. With eyes still closed, come to a comfortable seat. I hope you will continue on this Yinneagram journey with me through all the types. If you aren't a 7, I hope you have discovered ways to love the 7s in your life. Blink open the eyes. Beloved 7s, please take some time to get to know yourself, all of you. I believe in the strength in our humanity. I believe in your strength to face your sad spots, your anxieties, and to come out better for it. Please take care of yourselves because we absolutely need your sweet joy and wonder in our world. Bring the palms of your hands together at your forehead. Inhale, taking up all the space in your lungs. Exhale completely. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Namaste.